Wonderful. Hello. I'm super excited that you're taking the time to enjoy some inspiration and hopefully some really valuable input for you. I guess you're a busy project manager. Here are my tips around prioritization, managing priorities and conflicting priorities between stakeholders. Um, this will be about 30 minutes. Two-thirds of these 30 minutes will be the content about managing priorities. And then I will share a little bit about my Project Excellence coaching program. So let's dive in, and I'll make it big so that you can see everything. Here we are. Who am I? My name is Ines Kaps, and I'm an expert in turning projects around, in particularly really complicated projects, global projects. So everything that is dealing with difficulties, difficult stakeholders, difficult timelines and complex setups, that's where I feel comfortable with, and that's where I thrive. Why can I say this? I have 23 years of project management experience on my belt, both in Big Four companies, in software companies, and I've been running my own consulting company also for a couple of years. In these 23 years, I have approximately led more than 300 projects, both from very small projects where I was in the situations where I had to run multiple projects at the same time, to really global large projects that lasted several years with several work streams, big transformations, as well as carve-outs and post-merger integrations. I am a serial entrepreneur. I was also a board member of an investment fund. So that really allows me to consult and coach people in a lot of different areas, because I do really understand the business language, the business processes. So I'm very comfortable in managing these topics. That's enough for me. What are we going to cover today is, why is priority management essential for projects? And I assume if you're in similar situations like I am and I was, the end of the year is usually a time where a lot of projects need to finish. The end of a year is always this timeline or this goal to finish something by end of the year. And we are approaching Q4 in this hemisphere. So usually these are also the times where the pressure increases from the different stakeholders. There are issues. There's never enough time to do some testing, never. Or if you have projects where before the rollout you have sufficient time for testing, drop me a line. I would love to understand how you were able to do it. So why is it important? What are the challenges? And what are actually my tips that help me manage priorities and manage those different expectations from stakeholders? Let me sip some coffee. So imagine you're in one of those projects where you're implementing either a new technology, you're driving a new transformation, digital transformation. That is predominantly my background, implementing either new technologies, new processes, or something to transform. Imagine the situation where a CIO wants to implement a new budgeting system because he has defined a new IT strategy. And the budgeting system is for the finance department, obviously, because they are responsible for the business processes of budgeting. However, the CFO does not want to have this new budgeting system because he is happy with the current one, and he has very close relationships with the provider of this current budgeting system. So the CIO wants to implement something against the business, and this is a very difficult and tricky situation for any project manager, because you cannot win. There are conflicts that actually need to be solved on a higher level. And when you think about the priorities, the CIO has the job to transform the technology, the digital base for the company. He needs to invest and improve the new systems so that they will be future ready. That is the goal of a CIO. The CFO needs to ensure that the data is there, that the money is managed correctly and most efficiently, and he needs compliant processes. So probably he's not so interested in the IT strategy. And these are different business cases. These are different goals of these department heads. And obviously their priorities are conflicting. And that's where priority management, escalation management, and conflict management is absolutely crucial. A second situation that I was in was also implementing a new document management system, where one of the goals of the CIO was to have a rollout by the end of the year. So kind of this situation today. The business unit that was basically scheduled to have the rollout at the end of the year was, let's say, the cash cow of the company. So they were really the ones who were generating the highest cash in, the highest turnover, and the highest sales. And their most important time of the year to generate highest sales was November and December. So imagine you have the most important year for achieving your business goals, December, and you are asked to use a completely new system just before your most important month. These are also conflicting priorities and conflicting business cases. And in this situation, because we prepared the business so well in advance and did the training and all the risk mitigation, and we had a very, very strong and trustful relationship with the business. And therefore, the business trusted the project to really say, we trust you, we take the leap of faith and change the system just before our most important month. It went well. We were all sitting on needles, and it was a very high stake, but we prepared everything what we could do. The whole project team, the whole support team was ready to run and ready to support whatever it was needed for the business. And that was the setup for the rollout, and it went well. You may also be in a situation, maybe not for your projects, but for your own tasks, not only as a project manager, but as an employee. Your line manager is adding tasks and tasks and tasks on your table. And the list of tasks is probably increasing. And sometimes there are situations where it's just too much. There is just not enough time in a day. You also only, I assume, have 24 hours, 7 days a week. and we're not here to work 24 hours, 7 days a week. So there needs to be an adjustment in those priorities. I think I touched already a little bit before. Why are priorities, why do they cause challenges, and why do they cause conflicts? Predominantly because the stakeholders involved have different business cases. The head of IT gets measured and paid the bonus if they achieve a certain goal, if they achieve the rollout, if they achieve this number of tickets resolved. The head of the business unit is measured on different KPIs. They will get the bonus if they achieve the sales targets. And sometimes these KPIs and targets are conflicting. And that's why you also have conflicting priorities. And for you as a project manager, it is really essential to understand the business case, not only the business case of your project, what are the business benefits that you need to realize in the setup of the project, but what are the individual business cases of your stakeholders. Another challenge in defining the priorities or setting the right priorities is intransparent dependencies. You may have dependencies within your project, but your project may also have dependencies with other projects. The new budgeting tool has dependencies with the IT strategy. The new budgeting tool, but has also dependencies with potential process changes within the finance department, or within process changes in the R&D and marketing department, because they also need to run their budgets. So sometimes you know of all of those dependencies, but in most cases there are dependencies that are hidden because you didn't realize that there were 3 other projects running in your company on similar topics or conflicting topics, and you were just not aware of because you are focusing on delivering your project, which is your job. And these intransparent dependencies really cause a lot of issues and a lot of conflicts. And last but not least, missing leadership. So if you have a list of priorities and the leadership says everything is priority 1, that's not prioritization. So the leadership, not only of you as a project manager, as a project leader, but also of your sponsor and the top management, they need to make decisions. So they cannot say everything is important. They need to put a hierarchy, a priority list on your task and say, we will focus on this one thing to achieve our goals, or we will focus on these 2 things or 3 things or 3 activities to achieve our goals. But saying everything is priority 1 is not leadership. So what are, let's say, my 3 top tips to manage these challenges? The first element is stakeholder profiling. And stakeholder profiling is an activity where you really analyze and try to understand your stakeholders on a very, very detailed level. I have done a LinkedIn Live on stakeholder profiling a couple of months back, and I will link the video file in the comments. Stakeholder profiling is really about understanding your key decision makers and what are their business cases, what are their targets, when do they get the bonus, and what are their challenges. So it's not only understanding these the list of stakeholders. They are internal, external, direct, indirect, or whatever stakeholder management methodology or analysis you're running. It's 3 steps deeper. And that really helps you to understand the business case and puts you in a situation where you can start the negotiation with those stakeholders to find solutions. That is really the key benefit and the key goal of stakeholder profiling. The second tip is transparency. And transparency, you can, as an example, you can use a dependency planning methodology that is called SAFe, Scaled Agile Framework, Project Increment Planning. When you research this methodology, you get a very holistic and a big concept. But you can actually downsize this concept and really use some elements of this dependency planning workshop in your setup. And you don't need to be perfectly agile. You can use this dependency planning workshop, project increment planning workshop, also in different setups that are not purely agile. This workshop the goal of this workshop is really to bring the different stakeholders together and understand the different timelines, the different milestones, and to visualize the dependencies between those milestones, and to, then being in the situation that together with all the dependencies and all the stakeholders in the room, you can define the priorities and you agree on the priorities. And this dependency planning workshop really allows you to become transparent, to be transparent on, as I said, on the dependencies, on the risk of your project or program, and to enhance and facilitate the collaboration so that you're reducing the silo thinking. And I know that there are now a lot of buzzwords, but when you think of your project and the different work streams or your program, however you're set up, you do face on a regular basis silo thinking, because people want to deliver want to finish their tasks. They are concentrated, they are focused on the task they are responsible for, which is totally fine. And they don't take and invest the time to actually think outside the box because they have too many tasks on the table. They just don't have the time to think and collaborate with other people, because that's more task and more energy and more time. So this dependency planning workshop allows you to bring the people together and actually make time for them to collaborate and to discuss the dependencies. It is a time effort and it requires planning, but it's absolutely worth it. It is absolutely worth it. And a third tip, and that is predominantly related to you as an employee, as a project manager. You're not in the magic wonder business. You don't have a magic wand. I guess so, unless you're Harry Potter. But we're not in the wonder management business. So you may know the picture, and maybe I should take the picture instead of the post-it notes here. People are looking at a timeline for a project, and then they say, well, here we need some magic, we need a wonder in order to achieve the goal. It doesn't happen. And for you to also to realize it's just not possible to do the job of 3 people. It is not possible, and no one can do this. It's the first step to say, well, there is no magic wand. So if you have delay in your project because some people are not delivering on time, or maybe the client is not delivering on time, there is no chance that you will meet the finish line in time. It just does not work unless you have calculated all the buffer in the world into your project plan, and you have calculated with all the delays, and then that will probably work out. But if you have not calculated all the buffer possibly required, the timeline will squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and at some point in time you will need to say it will not work out. So therefore, being transparent is extremely important. Transparent in the way, if things are delivered late, this has a consequence. If this is not delivered in time, this has a consequence. If you're getting 20 more tasks on your table, 20 other tasks will fall off the table. It's if, then, if, then. There is no drama, it's just facts. So being transparent and without any emotions, communicating if, then is really important to you as a project manager. And it is important for all the stakeholders to actually understand the relationship, the dependency. And when you're in this situation that you're getting additional tasks on your table and additional tasks on your table, and the tasks are piling up and piling up and piling up, I really recommend that you sit down with your line manager on a very regular basis and say, listen, these are the tasks I currently have. These are the open topics and the things that you said are super important. And these are the 20 other super important tasks that I've received from other people, from whoever. I only have 8 hours in a day. Please help me prioritize. In your view, what is the most important activities that I should focus on? So really integrate your line manager and keep them accountable. They have responsibilities, and they are responsible for you being successful. They need to set you up for success. And if you're drowning in activities, their responsibility is to help you and to help you prioritize. And if you have these conversations with them, they will actually also, they will realize what you have on your table, because just because you've mentioned it at some point in time, it's too much. What does too much mean? Too much, it's not measurable. It's not measurable. They need to see what you have on your table. So be transparent, be detailed, and really show them what is completely on your table, and have these conversations on a regular basis. And one element was also in my coaching session, we had these discussions on priorities and having too many tasks on the table, and always getting the task to organize meetings because you're a specialist in organizing meetings, and your boss knows you can do it and you will do it well. So that's why you will get every meeting to organize or every conference to organize. And at some point in time, there is no growth opportunity for you because it's the 20th conference, and maybe you want to do something else. And by not allowing there are also other people in your team, and allow those other people in your team to take on these tasks. because they can develop as well. So they can learn the skills that you have developed in organizing these events or these conferences. And it doesn't mean that only young people are here to develop. There are also experienced people who maybe have never organized a conference, who have the opportunity now to develop the skills to organize a conference. So you really give them the chance to develop by delegating. So these are basically the topics that we are discussing in Passion for Projects Academy. And I've not only shared some of the experiences I had in my project management career, but I've also showcased some of the questions that we've discussed in the last couple of weeks in the program. Yesterday, as an example, we had 2 hours a deep dive, our monthly deep dive on SAFe, project increment planning, and how to set up such a workshop. So what is the Project Excellence Coaching? It's basically a weekly coaching opportunity for you. Currently, there are on Thursdays 2 opportunities in the morning and lunchtime. And the more people joining the program, the more opportunities I will open up. So it is designed for busy project managers. I have had in my mind my own situation as a busy project manager with a very dense schedule, with very flexible and changing schedules. So the goal was to provide an online weekly coaching opportunity for, in particular, women to have a safe space to ask their questions and to tap into the experience of a global turnaround expert for global projects with 23 years of experience. So I have a vast experience of difficult projects, and those women can ask on a weekly basis questions, no matter what related to projects. And there are projects, as I said, with priorities, too many tasks on the table. How do I delegate? I have a team member who is not performing. How should I onboard 10 new team members? So all those different questions can be asked, and we will discuss, and I will coach and facilitate you in this situation. It's a small group. So even if you don't have a question, there are other women who have questions, and you can either share your experience, and you can also learn from those other women and these other questions. So you have a weekly coaching call that you can join, and monthly we have a 2-hour deep dive session in the evening. So that's where we really dig into one content on a very detailed basis. And there are also some modules that you can listen to or watch on a self-paced module. So that is basically the package of the Project Excellence program, and it will cost you 270 euros plus tax per month. So it is an investment. My husband was joking, it's the price of an expensive hairdresser per month that you would invest in yourself in becoming a very confident and excellent project manager. The outcome of this Project Excellence coaching is I would like you to be successful in any situation and being comfortable and successful in leading any type of stakeholders. So that is the goal. If that sounds interesting to you, the best way to learn more about it is to jump on a discovery call, and I can share some more details how it is working, what are the next steps. But actually, it's very simple. You book a call, and if you say, yes, I want to invest, if you're on a monthly plan, you can say, yeah, you can pay monthly and you can cancel also on a monthly base, so there is no risk. If you say, I want to invest in a yearly plan, then you can cancel on a yearly plan, or you can switch in between. That's not a problem. So you book a call, you choose your plan, and then you join the next coaching call. If you do this today, the next coaching call is Thursday morning. So I would be delighted to welcome you there. I hope this was relevant and valuable to you. If you have any questions, or if there are any more topics you would like me to discuss in such a LinkedIn Live, drop me a line, and I'm more than happy to do so. Have a great rest of the Friday, and I hope you will also have an enjoyable weekend. Take care. Yes. Where is